Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a much requested review of the two BMW coding tools for your phone. Now Carly and BimmerCode are two of the biggest BMW coding mobile apps on the market today for BMW coding. But I get a lot of you who are confused as to which one you should buy because each one offers different things. Each one is a different price. And many of you don't know what you should and shouldn't go for. So therefore today I'm going to be helping you decide which one you should buy and which one you should avoid, or if it's going to benefit you for your needs. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to screen record both devices being used on the car, and then you guys can decide which one you want based on what I tell you each device can actually do. So let's get on to the video.
What? Goddamn, get it done, will ya? Woo! When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York, so you know.
Okay guys, so as you can see here, we're now in Carly. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do, if you can see, we're using the F series to use Carly, and it comes up BMW 1 Series 2012 plate. What we're going to go ahead and do is just connect to the app. So we're just going to connect. And if you can see here, this is how you'd connect to the adapter. Now, their adapter is around £50, and it's a universal adapter, which can also be used on Volkswagen, Audi, and Mercedes. It's not limited to a specific car. And this is why they invented the universal adapter. Now, when you first load and connect to the car, you see here it's got low, medium, engine start, stop recommended, coding, additional features for this car available as well. So if we just press back, you will see here we've got a load of different things on here. So we can run the health, which is the basically diagnostics on the car. So we can click health and we can see all the diagnostics on the car. So as you can see, that's all the instruments that are green. And previously we had two issues which were nothing serious. This was after I'd done a retrofit. So we're going to have the SLL and the rain light sensor both saying wrong variants. Now, when you see this, and if you see this on your car, it just means that something's been retrofitted or changed, and the hardware and firmware do not match. It does not mean the part is not going to work. This is just meaning if you take your car to BMW, they're going to see that you've done a retrofit and changed it, and they won't touch it. It will just come up in ISTA, and they won't touch your car. But if you're doing retrofits and you don't take your car to BMW, then these fault codes don't matter like they don't for me. The rain sensor, again, is because we changed to a newer version. The older version expired, therefore it's no longer used. So BMW don't have the right part anymore for the proper rain light sensor. That's why I'm saying wrong variant for this car. Now, if we just go back, we can also go to customization. Now, if we go to customization, you'll see this is in the coding. We're going to check the coding compatibilities on this car. We're going to see what we can code. The adapter lights up and it flashes. You want to make sure your battery is kind of fully charged before you do this, or you've got a new battery. If you're not sure, I wouldn't recommend coding without a charger connected. At least a small charger of any sort connected to the car just for coding. Of course, if you're programming, you're going to need some kind of voltage stabilizer with at least 70 amps to maintain the voltage when it's programming the car. Now, if you can see here, it will bring up all your ECUs that are compatible to be coded. We'll click OK. And if you can see here, it says for F models, the FEM combines many codings which are handled by the following modules in E models. So as I was telling you on many videos, the FEM controls all that as you see there. So the CAS, the FRM, JBBF, IHKA, and the seating heater. The FEM holds everything now. There is no longer CAS module on the F20. So if you can see here, we can just go straight into the combi and we can basically read out the combi. Now, all coding will be different from BimmerCode to Carly, but I'm just going to show you all the options. We're not going to code anything in. You've got the digital speedometer. You've got the boot logo for the dash there. As you see, 135i. You've got the cruise control set display. You've got the date in the dashboard, GPS correction, and you've got all other coding features as well that you can do. Tire pressure monitoring system, start-stop notification in dashboard, the gear shift indicator. You've got them all here if you want to code them. Now, It has got quite a few useful features, but I must say the first one it does miss, as if I can see here is the boot logo. It's only got the boot logo. They don't let you code in the one on the right side, which stays on the dash constantly. They only let you code in the boot logo, which isn't very good. BimmerCode, on the other hand, does let you have more coding possibilities on the combi and lets you code in other things compared to what Kali does. Now, if you look on Kali, there is no expert mode. So you can't just click on expert mode and expect to code something in from there, because there is nothing. You can't get into no FDL coding. They won't let you access anything else. This is all you can code, and if it ain't there, well then tough luck. You can't code it. You need to get other software. When we go into the FEM as well, we can read out the FEM right now, and I'll show you what's on there as well when we load the coding possibilities up on that. I want you guys to just see everything on here, and then you'll see it on BimmerCode, all the differences to what you can code on BimmerCode to Kali. Now, they do have their differences, as I said to you, but that's because Kali doesn't offer you the expert mode. If you know about FDL coding, you understand German, or you understand what you're looking for, BimmerCode, you can get to all these options as well. Now, if you can see in the FEM, we've got all the start, stop. We've also got the optical confirmation of unlocking. We've got the side markers, all in there. We've got the angel eye brightness. We've got the continue window action when door is opened. Welcome lights. We've got the welcome lights brightness, welcome light duration, welcome lights standing lights front left, and you've got standing lights front right. We've also got welcome lights DRLs, DRL right, low beams. We've got all the lighting that we can change in the FEM on the welcome lights. Now, we've got the interior lights after unlocking, interior lights after locking, extend the follow me home lights, ambient lighting, brightness, comfort folding, unfold mirrors after comfort close. You've also got the auto unfold mirrors at 25 miles per hour, mirror tilt, which my passenger mirror tilts down in reverse, comfort opener sunroof. You've got all the comfort openings here as well, trunk open, threshold, iDrive off when open door, which has all been coded in well with other devices before that I used, even plugged this up. Easy entry, seat heaters. So you've got everything in here for your heated seats as well. Front fog lights, which we don't have. Front fog lights with standing lights. So again, we shouldn't be having that because we don't have front fogs on here as well. Brake force display, flashing brake signals, third brake light. We've also got the rain light sensor sensitivity. So obviously you can change that as well for the rain light sensor if you have to. Mine's on normal, number of wipes after windscreen cleaning, wiping interval, reduce wiper speed, rear window cleaning with low washer fluid, wiping interval standstill, windscreen wipers continue, numbers until headlight cleaning to 10 times. You can change that if you want to. Headlight cleaning's on, again you can turn it off because I know many people don't like that. Number of splashes for headlights 2. You can also customize your low beams, the left voltage monitoring. This is where the voltage monitoring is. If you change your bulbs to LED and it's giving CAN bus errors and throwing errors on the combi or on your dash, you can just code them out, as you can see here. But you can also do this on BimmerCode via the expert mode. They don't give you these modes on the actual app. If you go into the com box, you can just change the ringtone there. That's all it's got in there, as you can see. You've also got the ICM here, which is the integrated chassis module. You've also got the SMFA, the ASD active sound design, which you guys know what that is, IHKA as well. You've got the CSM, REM, but if you guys can see here, the one thing they don't give you is every single module. For instance, we're missing the CAFAS, which is the camera of the car. So even if we wanted to code it, we couldn't, because they don't give you the option to on here. So that's not very useful. BimmerCode does give you that option. Now, on here as well, you can also do a used car check. You can just do start car check and Kali will run all the checks. It will check the mileage. It will check everything to make sure everything's actually accurate and nothing's been tampered with on the car. All this actually does is work out the mileage from the combi to the FEM to actually the key on the car to know the mileage of the car to make sure it's all matching. Because what a lot of people do is they'll change the FEM or change the combi, and a lot of people won't be aware of a tamper dot in the middle. They just go and buy a car, not aware, they just think the dot's normal, only to find out Kali tells them that this has got mileage discrepancies or the car has been involved in some sort of accident or something like that, where someone's had to change something on the car. So that's what Kali's good for. It can actually check that also. But again, Carly is very expensive compared to BimmerCode. For instance, you're going to pay £50 for the actual scanner itself. Then you're going to end up spending probably about £100 on all the different things on their coding app, and you got to buy them one by one. It ain't just the one thing. You will have to buy all the service resets. You'll also have to buy all the coding as well. Now, if you can see here, it says Carly car check running, so we're just going to wait for that to run his check. And there you go, guys. Now it's finished doing his check. We'll click OK, and then it says it found data points. 6 mileages are located in 6 different control units in your car. So it shows where all the mileage is, and it tells you if it's high mileage or low mileage based on your car's year. And it tells you all the mileage, and it will also tell you the found data points, driving profile data. It tells you about the battery key state, percentage of 20 to 100 kilometers drive, percentage of driven in shift M, 6.5%, percentage driven in shift D, 92.4%, which is really, really good, because this goes to show you that this car hasn't been actually messed about with and hasn't been driven hard. If you can see there, the percentage driven in shift D has been 92.4%. So the majority of this car's life has been driven only in D and never in M or Sport. And if you can see there, in Sport it's only been used 1%, which is probably me driving it since I've owned it, if I'm honest with you. The majority of the other people that have owned it have only driven it in D, so they've treated it like an actual baby. That's really good to know. And if you can see here, it's got further data points located inside. Build date from lights, 26th of the 8th, 12. Build date from instruments, 30th of the 8th, 2012. And it tells you everything you need to know in all the control units of its build date and everything else. So it's, as it says at the top there, Carly has detected no tampering. So that's a good thing to actually have. Now, if we go into features, you can see here we've got health diagnostics, live data, used car check, digital garage, coding, iDrive, exhaust flap. Now, the exhaust flap control, manually open the exhaust flap of your BMW, control the exhaust flap even while driving. Open the exhaust flap anytime to hear the pure engine sound, and keep the flap open as long as you have the app connected. Now, that's the exhaust flap that I've got on the car. Obviously, I don't want to do that, but these are all the other features you're going to need to pay for. Now, if you can see here, you've got the service reset, battery reset, which of course you can recode a battery of the Carly, DPF, knock sensor. We've also got the engine adaptions, transmission, and the OBD functions, as well as the brake functions. Now, engine adaptions are right here. You can reset now the engine adaptions of Carly. If many of you guys didn't know that, you can finally do that now. So that's basically all there is on Carly to actually show you. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is move over to BimmerCode. As I said, Carly offers you diagnostics. Carly offers you to reset the adaptions. Carly offers you everything in one for a more higher price, where BimmerCode, we'll move on to it and I'll explain more about BimmerCode. Okay, guys, so now we've got BimmerCode loaded up. Now I'm going to be showing you about BimmerCode. So what we're going to go ahead and do is quickly connect. So we're going to connect to the adapter. Now it brings up 1 Series F20. We're just going to click continue because that is our car. And if you can see there, it's reading all the vehicle information. Now it will identify all the control units. So as you see there, guys, BimmerCode is now loaded, and now we have access to all the modules. Now, one thing I do like about BimmerCode is the layout. As soon as the app opens, it's got that nice layout with everything in front of you, everything fully described as to what it is on the car. And if you would have seen by Carly, Carly doesn't give you access to as much as BimmerCode. For instance, straight away, many of you will see here, we've got the camera-based driver assistance system, which Carly never gave access to. Electronic transmission control, again, Carly never gave access to. There is a lot on here that Carly doesn't give access to, which BimmerCode allows. Now let's put it straight. BimmerCode is designed by Chinese, and Chinese people are very, very good with their coding. They are known for making their programmers from the bench. They are known for doing with BMW very highly, especially when it comes to coding, programming, writing EEPROMs, repairing the flashes. Chinese are very well known for doing that. So for the Chinese to build this app is very good at them, and they're very, very clever at what they do. Now, Carly is made by a German company. The guys, the owners of it, used to do FRM recovery, used to basically do the same as me. But I can surely say to you right now, the Chinese are way advanced more than any of us. doing this. So Chinese people know what they're doing when it comes to coding, programming, and all sorts of things. That's why they give access to all these modules, because they know they've got safety parameters in place to do it. So let's just go to the car icon down here. And if you'll see here, we're going to load up the vehicle information. Now, this is when you know someone clever has designed this app, because they give you full access to your VIN, your series, the time criteria when it was made, your key cutting code, so the type of key, your paint code, upholstery code, and then your eye level, which is your eye step, which is your firmware on the car. So from factory, it would have been 533, so 12.7.533. We're now on the last one, which is 21st of the 3rd, 530, which was the last eye step firmware upgrade for this car with all the latest firmware. If you also see here, it lets you see your VO on your vehicle, which is very, very important, especially if you lose the data on your EEPROM or you crash a module. Having your everything on your VO is very important to write it back, because the car and module needs to know your VO to work all the modules together. Without that, the car is basically neato and will not run perfectly, will not run at all without the VO. This VO is stored in many, many modules, and it's there for a reason. If you need to recode the car, to know what's on the car, for everything to run correctly. Now, if you can see here, we've got the active sound design module, which is right there. We've also got the camera-based driver assistance systems. We've also got the gearbox. We've got a lot of systems which you didn't see on Carly. Now, BimmerCode, if you can see here, we'll click the settings one, doesn't support diagnostics on their app. So bearing in mind, you're only paying £25 for their device, and you can use many, many devices. If you'll see right here, you don't have to use the VGuide iCar Pro. You can use many other ones. Even if you've got an Ethernet cable, just buy an adapter for your phone and plug in the Ethernet, and you can use BimmerCode that way as well. But please bear in mind that BimmerCode doesn't have diagnostics. You will have to buy BimmerLink, which is another £30 to get diagnostics, but you can use your same adapter to run the diagnostics also. So in total, it's going to be much cheaper than Carly, because for £60, you can get BimmerLink that does diagnostics and also live data and also adaption reset. And you'll also get BimmerCode as well. And you'll get the adapter for less than £25. So all in all, £85, and you've got BimmerCode, which is much, much better and doesn't have restrictions like Carly. So if you will see straight away, Carly did have restrictions, because Carly didn't give you access to any of these other control modules. So now if we go into electronic transmission control module, you'll see here what I mean. So for instance, reading the coding data, we can go into expert mode and click continue, and we can get access to expert mode to unlock launch control. Now with Carly, you wouldn't be able to do that, because it doesn't even give you access to the module. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to unlock launch control. So that's one of them. Now, if you remember on Carly as well, I said to you about the instrument cluster showing the boot logo and also the logo on the right side of the instrument cluster. So if we just load up the instrument cluster right now, I'll show you on BimmerCode what this can do, what Carly couldn't do. So as you'll see here, we've got all the things Carly had, but this also had more, because it's got the Sport Plus driver mode 2 of 2. Carly never had that. We've also got here the M Performance logo, which the model M Performance logo that is displayed in the bottom right in the instrument cluster. Carly never had that. Carly only had the Start logo. Right? Now, I know that's not an important factor, but you also don't want to be restricted. If there's other things your cluster can do or a module can do, they should pick it up in the firmware with Carly. But that just shows you that Carly is not up to date. Now, before I updated the firmware, this wasn't showing on BimmerCode, and I tried BimmerCode to see if I could code this in before the firmware update, and I couldn't. After I did the firmware update, I was able to actually put the M Performance logo on the right side. BimmerCode detected it at a firmware update and let me put that there. Carly does not. This is why I'm telling you that Carly is very restricted. Also, again, you can use the expert mode, and you can get access to all parameters that Carly won't allow. Now, obviously, BimmerCode take no responsibility, and they do warn you before you do that. The good thing about BimmerCode is they back up all your module and all your coding before you alter your coding and your FDL. So if I click to change here, and I just clicked one of them, and then I click code, it would back up down here on the backups, and it would do a backup here before it codes in the new parameter, so you can always revert back to it. That's the only good thing. Another good thing is if it does stop coding in the process or it tells you it's failed, it won't break or destroy your module either. As I said, the Chinese are very, very clever when they make things like this, and trust me, I know, because I use a lot of their tools for on the bench and doing things what I need to do with module repair. So I can tell you right now, the Chinese people are very, very clever at building things like this, and they are way much better than what the engineers at Kali have developed. Now the Kali dongle is made by China, so is the BimmerCode ones as well, but obviously the Chinese are not going to let Kali try and steal their invention. That's why BimmerCode are trying to take over the world with the coding app, and they already are doing that. For me, this is a must app, and out of the two of them, I highly recommend BimmerCode because of the possibilities of this app alone. As I said many times, the fact that you can do FDL coding and they don't restrict you and they back it up and there is really no risk using this is a plus. As I said to you, if anything was to happen, you can just manually VO code your module back to scratch. It isn't that hard. Of course, you need to know what you're doing, but if you've got eSystem and you know how to use that, then using BimmerCode is going to be a doddle for you, because you should already know what parameters you're looking for and where it's located on each module. Now, if we just go into the front electronics module, you'll see here on here, it doesn't have as many coding possibilities as Kali did on the F3 module, like the voltage monitoring and what so on and so on and so on. That's purely because on the FEM, they give you access to the expert mode to do that. Now, if you want to code all that out, you can. But the reason they don't pull it right there is because if you're going to look for it, you can easily find it on their expert page to be able to do that. The whole idea of BimmerCode, they didn't want to restrict you, and BimmerCode finally listened to people like me who were saying from day one that Kali restricts people's use and they shouldn't be doing that. You know, I really do hope BimmerCode actually bring programming into the app. That will be the killer of all BMW coding apps. BimmerCode will finish the industry if they do that, because they are the only app that has been actually listening to people like me who are saying they shouldn't be restricting people. If people are stupid enough to go into expert mode and use it, they need to face the responsibility. Don't touch it unless you know what you're doing. Kali completely hinders anybody touching anything else. They only want you to code what they want you to code, and don't even give you the option to access anything else, even if you are clever and you know what you're doing. Where BimmerCode, they give everyone the option, but it's if you're willing to take that risk or if you know what you're doing. But the good thing is they don't stop people who know what they're doing accessing it. Most people who don't know what they're doing ain't that stupid enough to try and touch something, because I know a lot of people get scared when they touch something and destroy their car. Okay, so now the FEM's finally loaded. If you'll see here, we've got a lot of different parameters in the FEM. So if we just scroll down, we can do the battery type, because it holds the battery type also, because there's no longer a cast. You've got the brake force display, you've got the convenient opening, you've got your daytime running lights, you've also got your horn signal when locking the car with engine running, window lifter interruption when opening the door, your headlight washers, your LED conversion low beam, LED conversion daytime running lights, everything there, cornering lights, fold and unfold the mirrors. You've also got your steering wheel with paddles, front backrest temperature. You've also got your boot lid opening delay, turn signals flashing on locking, USA side markers, welcome lights, parking lights, wipe cycle after front washing. So you've got a lot of things you can already code in, and that's way more than Kali has got to offer. Now, if you go into expert mode, you've also got all these parameters as well that you can code. And don't let this fool you, because as I've shown you before, you can code a lot of different things. You can see here, it's got a lot of things. You can even code the SZLs if you really wanted to. You can go into LC master, and you can do a lot of different changes on the FEM. As I said to you, the FEM does control the majority of the car, so there is a lot in here that you can actually alter and change. So do not be fooled thinking that you can't do certain things with BimmerCode, because BimmerCode can do a lot more than what actually meets the eye. This in here alone is exactly what, if you've got eSystem and you plugged it up to your car, these are all the parameters that are going to unlock on eSystem. The only difference is you can have the cheat sheet, but again, the cheat sheet for eSystem will work on BimmerCode, providing you have it to hand. So therefore, you'll get an understanding of what every single one does. These are all the catalog numbers of where you can find exactly what you need to code. Therefore, again, as I said, you can see here, it does do backups on the FEM, so you don't have to worry if you make a mistake. Again, Carly does do a backup, but Carly doesn't give you access to as much as this. So there you have it, guys. This is BimmerCode, and this is the both of them in comparison. I hope you guys can work out which one is better for you. As I said, Carly does do the diagnostics. It also does all the live data, used car checks, coding, but the coding is very limited. But then you end up paying more because you've got to pay for each feature to unlock, and also £50 for the scanner. With BimmerCode, you pay £25 for the scanner, £30 for the app, and £30 for the other app to do diagnostics and live data. BimmerCode gives you access to more features on your car than you'll ever think possible. You're able to unlock things that Carly will never ever give you access to. Therefore, Carly's way too restricted. But for people who just want normal coding, who are scared to touch the expert mode or scared to touch their transmission module, then go to Carly. But with BimmerCode, the risks are very low because, as I said, there's a lot of videos out there and most of it is very self-explanatory. You can just go into a transmission control module, find the launch control. That's the one thing many people are just going to activate. They're not going to sit in there playing with all the other gearbox settings. Most of them are already active. The fact I like BimmerCode is because you're not restricted, and I'm used to using E-System and all other coding tools for all other cars which don't restrict me. Carly is very basic and therefore is very restricted, and that's why I therefore for myself wouldn't recommend it for my own use. But you guys can make your mind up on which one you prefer. But if you're asking me what I prefer, I strongly prefer BimmerCode, and it's an app I will carry me and use probably for a very long time. I really do like this app, and thanks to a lot of you guys for actually telling me about it. And I'm so glad to Tony, who actually sent this out to me, and they paid for the app for me, and I look forward to them unlocking BimmerLink for me so I can do the diagnostics with you guys as well. Okay guys, so as you've just seen there, I've just reviewed BimmerCode and Carly for BMW. Now, as I said in the video, it's based on you. For me, I don't like Carly, never have. You guys know what I'm capable of and the skills I got on these cars. Carly is really for beginners. It's because they don't want you to access certain other things, which is all fine because I understand they don't want to take responsibility and they don't want you to end up damaging your car. But in the same sense, they shouldn't be restricting you. Now, anyone's going to say the Chinese don't give a crap. That's why they allow you to access this, but they don't. When you click on expert mode, they actually put a warning up, warning you of the consequences of what can happen. Anyone smart enough and clued up enough and who ain't gullible enough won't just go in there and start playing about parameters that they know nothing about. Anybody that has no idea about these cars, you don't touch something you don't know. It's like going and working on a car when you have no clue about what part it is you're touching. You just don't do it. You wouldn't catch me going to do a job that I know nothing about. You know, I wouldn't understand how to fly an aeroplane, but you wouldn't catch me just going there and giving it a try. You don't do it. And it's the same for using a scanner on a car. If there's a button there, it's, as it says, expert mode. It reads expert. So if you're not an expert in this, don't touch it. It's very simple. I like BimmerCode. I know a lot of you are going to kick off us saying Carly's better. Everyone to their own. Unfortunately, I don't like Carly. Never did. BimmerCode is the only way forward for me. Many of you are going to sit here and say it's because I've been paid. Let me just tell you and be very blatant with you. I have not been paid for this review. They asked me, they were going to send it to me for free, and I said that is fine. I didn't want them to pay me. I know a lot of you have asked me to do it, and when they asked me to do it, I said to just send it because I know a lot of you have asked to do it. Now, if it was something I already had, I would have asked them to pay me to do this video. But the fact is, I didn't need to be paid for it because it's something I wanted, and I wanted to do this video because a lot of you have been requesting me to do this video with BimmerCode, and that is exactly why I've done it. So I hope this video is going to help a lot of you guys, and it will clear up a lot of the speculation around Carly and BimmerCode and which one is better. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'm glad to offer you this video, BimmerCode versus Carly, so you guys can make up your mind on which one you believe is better. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.